Hey ladies, my name's Steven Yeun, and I swear, this is really gay. No, I'm not doing it like that!
Hey friends, Dawson here. I have watched 10 hours of Steven Yeun, so that way you don't have to. And today we're covering his objective personality type because Steven is a real INFJ and you are not. Even though the Myers-Briggs fandom has him down as some sort of ISFP, go figure. Like, everyone's an INFJ except the real INFJs. Like, trust me, if he was an ISFP, I would take this guy in a heartbeat. Like, what a cutie. Okay, fine. Let's let Steven tell us who he is. So, whenever we covered Kristen Stewart, we caught a nice contrast between an observer and a decider. One is stuck on identity and the real me, and the other one is just on a completely different train of thought. So, I happened to catch another interview conducted at a different time with these two, and if we have predictability, we should still see that one is stuck on things and the other is stuck on people.
I'm so proud of Sam and Andy. I think it was such a big swing, like an out there idea. An idea that's hard to describe because it is such an acting exercise. It's such an exercise in being human. And even trying to describe the movie tends to sort of start to become the movie, like being like, who are we? Yeah. But who am I? Who are you? Like, it's about individuality and how unfixed that is. And like, I play a buoy and he plays a satellite. And essentially we kind of just play ourselves trying to decipher connection, just try to sort of like negotiate what being yourself means. We're so forced to define ourselves in order to be loved and to feel known. And sometimes you feel the most yourself when you don't know. And when I first read it, I thought it was just a pretty profound look at us versus like some high kind of concept science fiction movie. And I thought it was like kind of hiding in something that it wasn't, which is also inherent to what the movie is about. It's like, how can we be better humans? Like, how can I be more of my real self? I think that most people don't struggle. It's not a struggle. It's just it's the struggle of being alive.
Yeah.
You know?
So Steven, when you read it, what were you thinking?
It kind of held two things, which was like it was going and touching really abstract things, but then also very grounded things. It was both accessible and also like deep. It was kind of paradoxical, and I guess it makes total sense because it's Sam and Andy coming together to make this thing. So it's like two viewpoints, like really like supporting each other, and then I knew that Kristen was involved, and so that made it more exciting. And it's just this. It felt like a space to explore. And that was what I felt like when I was reading the script. I was like, oh, this is going there. It's interesting, yeah.
Like every single clip I play of these two, it's the same thing. Like, okay, come on, you're both going to see things the same way, and go.
It was like an invitation to do a really elaborate acting exercise that would reveal us to ourselves and each other on a daily basis.
It's an exercise in surrender and control. It's just that tension between those two things.
Like, this is what is happening every single time. Oh, self and others and the real me, and do you like me? And then accessible and deep, and then reality, but then very abstract things. And like, can you guys speak the same language? What is going on here? And this is the contrast that you're gonna be seeing over and over again between observers and deciders. But we're not gonna stop there because I am here to learn more about the observers. So, COVID, that's a big deal, right?
What was crazy about the pandemic is like the battlefield is like yourself. And
oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
I do.
You got to find out about who you are.
Yes.
During that time. And there's a lot of stuff to clean up in there.
Yeah. Are you talking to me or about yourself? Because
I'm talking about myself.
Oh my God, okay, because you were saying it and I was thinking day 2 of this pandemic.
Yeah.
I got a good hard look at myself and I did not like what I saw.
Right? Because everybody was in like panic, flight, or flight. So it's like, what did you choose? Like, and I've kind of simulated that on Walking Dead. Like, what weapons do you choose, or like people do you hang out with, or like
That's
vehicles?
true. It didn't even occur to me. You spent 7 years on this show that was all about surviving this crazy virus, and you should have the requisite skills, which is immediately get to the woods somewhere in Georgia.
I thought none of those things. You know what I mean? Like, I exposed myself because I was like, what do I do? All I did was like, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I was like, we're all gonna die.
That's yeah.
And that's where I went to first.
And then good night, kids.
Yeah. And then I had to peel it back.
So you'd think that's a good time to move into a new home, but then it's got to be a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I think that's like a what if your house was also a prison? You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean.
Right? Like, for us, it was like this. We were like, wow, we're so lucky we're going to get this new home. We paid for the home, and then we were there for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, like, we were locked in a cage with the 4 of us, just like locked inside our own mind. I'm revealing myself right now.
Yeah,
what happened?
It's clear that you've gone to a very dark place. And it's clear that you're unhinged, dangerously unhinged.
My back, after a while, I was like, oh, I'm never gonna not look tired. Like, I'm just gonna look tired for the rest of my life.
So I've listened to a lot of actors talk about the pandemic, and it usually goes something like, we're stuck and we were with the kids, and so we were going stir crazy and we had to work on all these projects, you know, all this stuff, right? But this is the first one that actually feels startled by it. And I think the interview was made like a year afterward. Like, why are you still bothered by this, right? Like, I kid you not, the week that we were sent home from spring break, a buddy of mine was like, this is going to be the next version of the Great Depression where people in their 70s and 80s are gathering cleaning supplies and going, oh, no germs, no germs. And I was just like, whatever, man. I'm going to forget about all this by this time next year. And that's exactly what happened. It would be brought up in conversation. I was just like, that virus thing, is that thing still going around? It also didn't help that Oklahoma cured itself after a month, so there's that. So when actors talk about the pandemic, my brain just kind of glosses over it. It's a non-issue, right? But this is a rather odd, not calm reaction. And what you will see is that the observers will often get stuck on the virus and the vaccine and the COVID and the government control and all these end of the world things that are happening right now. And it's totally all real, guys. But when looking at observer versus decider, it is important to download the language. What is the punchline?
We're obviously living in a time in the industry where the industry itself is being called out to be more diverse. Who do you think has the greatest responsibility to push the envelope and make active change? Is it audiences? Is it gatekeepers? What do you think?
That's a tough question. I would say, I mean, it seems like the answer is always going to be it's a collaborative effort. I think we just got to change what we put out, in my personal opinion. You know, you can blame individuals, you can blame gatekeepers, you can blame whatever. I think we're just entering into a time where information has become so accessible that everyone has caught up to maybe the falsehoods of life. And because of that, I think a lot of people are hoping to right some wrongs. And with that in mind, I think we're taking the necessary steps to go there. And so, you know, when you have so much information and when everybody has the same information, the level of intelligence per how much knowledge you have, which is just information, is kind of flat and equal. So at that point, all you can really have is wisdom, which is when to know things are gray. When to know that life is not black and white. When to know when this doesn't necessarily equate to this, or you can't mathematically, algorithmic deduce if someone's wrong or not. Right. And I don't know how to tap into that emotion on like a instructional level. I don't know how to say that to somebody, but there is something about the fakeness of people thinking that knowledge is wisdom, and that's not true. I think people look to their phones and go, I know this, I found it. And it's like, well, anyone can do that. So what's your wisdom? How do you speak from that place?
Looky here, we're not pointing the finger at the people and the society and the audience and the gatekeepers. Instead, it is the information that is serious. Again, what is real and what is fake? People problem, what people problem? And he's just skating right on by. So Steven Yeun is an observer. So now we're gonna do something a little bit different here and look at Steven's letter pairing. Once you download dozens of stories, you'll begin to recognize patterns in how people communicate. You have SF, which is values in the sensor. You have ST, reporting what works in the sensor. You have NT, which is the piecing and puzzling together of concepts in the abstract. And then you have NF, which is some sort of like fart gas and vibes and feelings, and you know what I mean, right? While many people will fall neatly into these categories, there are of course many exceptions to the rule. JD Vance seems more NT nerdy and not SF popular, whereas Harry Styles seems more SF popular and not NT nerdy. You also have Chase Hughes, who is a very ST for an INFJ, and then you have Jim Carrey, who's very woo-woo, and then you have ESTP Terrence Howard dancing in the NF womb with his 1 × 1 = 2 theory, you know what I'm saying? But just a little hint for Steven here is that he fits neatly into his category, like many others of his type. So, which category best fits our friend Steven?
I was in London, tossing and turning from jet lag, and thinking about just things you think about when it's 3 a.m. in London and you're jet lagged. And then I got a random phone call from Director Bong, which is like the coolest thing to get. And it was a rushed email or voicemail saying, you need to call me back right now. So I called him back and he goes, Director Lee wants to meet you. And I was like, why? Just he's one of my heroes, and so it was so crazy. And he said, "There's an idea of a role for his new film, and would you take a look at the short story that it's based on, and the script we'll give you when you get to Korea." And luckily, I was leaving for Korea the next day from London, just happened to be. And so I read the short story, loved it, kind of had an understanding of who he wanted me to play before he even told me. And then when I got to Korea, I met him for 3 days straight. And he just gave me the script at the end, and then the third day we like hugged. Through our conversation, we just kind of felt like we were on the same page with the character. And so, yeah, and then we shot it, which was 4 to 5 months of something magical. Yeah, that's the only way I can really put that one. Yeah, it's cool. Sorry, it wasn't that insane of a story, actually.
No.
Now that I tell it, it's reasonable.
I love how like the hug sealed the deal. It
Yeah.
sounds like.
Well, it was my Korean is good, but I was born there, but I moved when I was 4, so it's just kind of conversational.
Yeah.
And so in the early meetings, we had to kind of speak through emotions.
Right.
And I think we landed on the same emotions. So it was cool. It was like nonverbal communication that got us there, and then afterwards we I had to amp up my Korean a little bit.
Right.
Okay, that story was like super normal and uneventful until the very end. Wait, what? It was nonverbal? You didn't speak? It was only through emotions? And not only that, he didn't even give us the details in the story. By the way, he only spoke an XYZ language, so in order to communicate, we had to XYZ. No, he just casually slips it in at the end. By the way, it was nonverbal, and we spoke through emotions, and I got the censor script at the end, and it was fine. Okay, that is odd. He's giving us an overview and he's just moving on. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Jenna Ortega and how she described working with Tim Burton.
He kind of mumbles to himself. It's like his own little language. I was speaking to him earlier today and half of the conversation was and you're like, oh yeah, totally, I feel the exact same way.
Again, you have this nonverbal, intuitive conversation through emotions. And of course, Jenna is an F. And that clued us in later for whenever we were typing Tim Burton that, oh, this guy is probably also an F. Like, it's fine, you don't need the censor anyway, you just get it, For contrast, we recently typed these two handsome blockheads, Jared and Jensen. So, let me show you what a real ST reporter conversation looks like.
The problem is it was a night scene, and we were filming this in July. Well, it doesn't get 2 hours. It doesn't get night in Vancouver until like 10:30 p.m. She had flown up with the kids, and we were on essentially the children's schedule. So we're waking up at 7 a.m. We got to that scene, it was about 3 a.m.
Furthermore, 11 when season or episode 1, 11 p.m. Episode 1, 11. What I'm trying to say is 11 p.m. is also 1 a.m. Texas time, because you had just come in for that 2 days. So it's 11 p.m. Vancouver.
Your local weather brought to you by Jared Padalecki.
But it's even later, is what I'm saying. Like 11 p.m. sounds late. It was 1 a.m. Texas time, where Dee and Jensen and the kids are at like 1 a.m. time, because we're usually on Texas time.
What time was that?
11 p.m. equals 2. So if you add 2, and it's weird, you go to 12.
Like, imagine if Jenna and Tim Burton had the same conversation. So, Mr. Steven Yeun is going to be savior. Alright, so Steven seems to be an observer with intuition at the top. Now, I have a lot to cover on that axis, so we're going to shove that aside for now, and we're going to focus our efforts on DI versus DE. Now, of course, Mr. Steven Yeun is going to have both of these in the middle, so he's not going to be swinging terribly hard between one or the other. And so, this is where we have to be really careful in order to determine the differences. Is Steven self above tribe, or is he tribe above self? Where is the tribe? Is it, oh, me, and here's more about me and myself, and I'm super awesome, and the tribe there, they are pretty cool because they like me? Or is it, oh, the tribe and you're super awesome, and you're amazing, and poor little old me, and you're an inspiration? Now, of course, those are the stereotypes, but that is the flavor that you get the more that you kind of collect these patterns. So this is what we're going to be watching out for. Which box does Steven fit in? DI or DE. Now, Steven Yeun is here with selfish ENTP Bobby Lee for an intervention. So, let's see how it goes.
I wish I was here earlier. I'd have more context.
And actually, I want to kind of explain to Bobby right now why you're here right now. So, So Steve came to my house a few nights ago, and we talked for hours about you. Hours.
It's so uncomfortable, I can't even do it.
Is this an intervention?
No, it's not an intervention.
It's so uncomfortable, I can't even fucking believe it.
Can you be open to hearing what we have to say, no matter how uncomfortable it makes you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, here we go. Vow number 8.
They've been bowing the whole time for respect.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, you don't have to. Yes. You don't have to yes.
No, you know what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take my earphones off.
And then you can close your eyes.
No, I'm not close. I'm gonna put it, and I'm gonna listen like.
Oh, wow.
I want my ears to hear this fucking bullshit.
Maybe close your eyes.
Mike.
Maybe close your eyes. Maybe close your eyes.
No, don't close your eyes.
No, I don't want to close my eyes.
Look at me.
Because this is sabotage and I love it. Go ahead.
You think this is sabotage?
I don't know what it is. Let's just do it, okay?
We were just talking, and Dave is great because if you have an idea, he pushes the button, and then we're just on to the idea. But basically, we were just talking about you and how underappreciated you are, and we wanted to come tell you that, like,
that's what you talk about.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Genuine. Like we were talking about because I know you're doing a bit sometimes too. It's like sometimes when I listen to Tiger Belly, the fun bit that I hear you do is that nobody respects you or your career, and that's not true. That's not true, especially for me.
Yeah.
Because I massively respect.
I know you do.
Yeah. And I remember an episode of Tiger Belly where you tell the story about you guys were at a Korean barbecue and you're talking about how like you self-anointed yourself as a Korean something.
At Parks Barbecue.
Yeah, at Parks, and then you fucking ate it. And that's because it's the shittiest raw deal to have to anoint yourself in your own mind to the worth that you inhabit. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the function that I'm trying to serve here with Dave is like, let me just give it to you. Like, you got it. Like, you did it.
And you did it for us.
You fucking did it.
You did it for us.
You didn't just show up, though. You took several years of fucking beatings, and yet you thrived. Like, they put weights on you, and you still thrived. And you're out here now thriving independent of that.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, you could take the weights off, too.
What a concept.
Wow.
We talked about you for hours, and you, and more about you. And I kid you not, this is a 45-minute bit where they're just praising Bobby Lee. And they're doing all these weird bow downs on the floor, like, what in the world? And Bobby Lee, who in every setting that I've ever seen, never takes anything seriously. He's 50 years old and the biggest immature man baby in the room, demanding respect. And for the first time, I see him respond a little bit differently.
Okay, I just, I don't know what this is. But
what do you mean? This guy comes to my house.
No, I know what it is. No, I'm just saying I know what it is. It's just I wasn't expecting this, and I appreciate what you guys just did, and this is the first time in my life where I agree with you, in the sense that like, yeah, it was hard, and I did do it. My point is that everything was kind of difficult, and I always knew, like, I'll be honest with you, when I'm at a comedy club and I'm stacked up against all these white and black guys and this and that, I know that I can carry my weight. Mm-hmm. And I know that I will be as funny or funnier than all of them, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that.
You are.
I know, I believe that. I've seen it. Mm-hmm. I've done it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I've seen it.
So all those, it's hard to say because it's like, how do you toot your own horn? Yeah. How do you, it's just a difficult thing to do, And I hear you guys, and I really, really, that means a lot to me, and I really appreciate it. Why do you regret it?
Because I was
guys,
in a nice life.
We're gonna have the best off-camera hug.
I know, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be so good, dude. I mean, we were just like, man, if we can just dump praise on Bobby and make him cry, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's okay to push the tribe emotions a little and make them cry. So, Steven Yeun is going to be DE over DI. Alright, so swinging back to the observer axis here, is this lead NI or lead NE? OI or OE? Control or chaos?
You're single, Steven. Is this, you're on this hit show, very popular with young people. Is this helping you with the ladies?
No.
Why not? Why not? I mean, it must help you. You
people
get recognized,
people say that, but I don't think, I'm just so crazy. I'm like not normal, and I really think like 18, 20 steps ahead. So it's like, oh my God, that girl is so cute. I would love to date her. Wait a minute, what'll happen when we're on our marriage and we're on our second child? And she says, hey, can you cook me some spaghetti? I'm really tired. I'm like, sure, I'll cook you some spaghetti. And then I bring the spaghetti, and she's like, this tastes like crap. And she throws the fork on it. And you're like, I don't want that. So no thanks.
Is he jumping to all of the possibilities, Or is he simulating out one life path to an insane degree? And now I know this is just a bit and everything, but it does sound a little familiar. Even though I don't have Savior in I can't help but tap into it and see everything 5, 10, 15, 60 years down the road. And to me, that's super normal. Everyone does that, right? Like I'll notice with NI, and especially with like NIFI, like a lot of us are going, yeah, anyways, I just casually simulate out my family's death in the future as you do. And everyone's just like, wait, what? Why would you do something like that? Why? Like, wait, you don't? Yes, I just casually imagine my life out when I'm 80, and the other functions just don't seem to get it. Like Alex Hormozi is even one who will just simulate out to his 80-year-old self.
And I'm my 85-year-old self living through my 30-year-old body. And thinking through that frame of how I would wake up and be like, oh, my elbows don't hurt. Oh, look, I have muscles. I haven't had those in forever. It just drills you, it just pegs you to the present. And you get to experience the current state from a future state for the first time.
But with Steven, is this OI? If he's in IJ, if he's in I, why can't I catch this guy planning? And that is a bias that I'm learning to break in my stupid head, because NI is not always planning. Like I love Uzair's breakdown on it.
So the introverted functions, in the case of Casey, he has 2 of them, NI and TI, they get built over time. So every time he does a video, he describes this as that anytime something goes wrong or doesn't work, it's like, oh, damn, that didn't work. Next time, I'm gonna do something else.
You learn to shoot in the edit, and you learn to sort of write in the shoot, because you're out there like, what am I shooting? I should have thought about this. Why didn't I shoot that like this? And then the next day I do that. Repeat 800 times.
Because a lot of these NI guys aren't planning per se, but you're still going to see a sense of control and a narrowed down focus. So you have to shove aside these stupid stereotypes and see what are the IJs actually doing. And who am I to say? I am an extrovert IP, which means I am part IP, EP, and then I get a little EJ from time to time. But OI is my worst function, so IJs just don't make any sense to me at all. And out of all the time that I've spent in ops, I've maybe downloaded, what, 40 IJs? Compare that to 112 EPs? So it is 3 to 4 times as likely I'm going to be able to catch an EP compared to an IJ. I am still learning the IJ story. So as I'm listening to Steven here, I'm trying to gather his point of view.
There was a scene where the barn burns down and like everything, he loses everything. And I remember in that scene, I was desperately trying to control that scene because I was like, you read the script and then you're like, yeah, this is the scene where I'm gonna lose it. Like snot's gonna come out of my nose. I'm gonna freak out. And I'm like so hyped. I can see it already in my head. You know, I was like singing hymns. I was like trying to crank up the emotion before the scene, just like, cause you know, I was trying to just let go to it. But then like, I found that there was no emotion bubbling up. And I was really scared because I was like panicking a little bit, being like, oh my God, if I don't have emotion now before he's rolling, like, am I going to find it in the moment? And I wouldn't let go to it. And so like, I tried to ramp up a cry or a freak out or something. And then I went into it. And then I remember like second take, Yeti's just looking at me. She's like, her face was like, what are you doing? and it was like the most true, because we were all so locked in as characters. And she just looked at me in a way and I was like, oh, wait, hold on. Maybe. All right, let me just let go. Let me just let go and see what happens. So he called action. And I was like, screw it. I'm just going to go with it. And I went with it and I just followed it and I just followed her and I followed the beats and I just lived in the moment. And then all of a sudden I look over at Yeti, who's playing Monica, and she's just sobbing, just pouring tears and like emotion out of her face. The positive that lesson taught me was it taught me that like after you're done with the job, you kind of got to throw it away. And what I mean by that is not like unappreciative of it, but more to say like, you can't really use it to take on the next challenge. You can't get through the next gate by like holding on to the baggage of that whole last experience. You kind of got to just like let it go and go, cool. Like I am evolved and changed. And then now I move to this new door fully naked again. And you just like do it over and over and over and over. And that's been the trip of the career.
I was trying to control things and I had to learn to let go and just see what happens. And allegedly what the IJs are doing is building within their... Stop it. Get out of my light. Chaos. And allegedly, what the IJs are doing is building and stacking within their box. So, has Steven always just been going with the flow and whatever happens? Or, oh, I can't take this baggage with me. I have to kind of start over and I can't build on it. Instead, I have to just let go and go through this new door. Even though Steven is not a super controlling, planning, scamming IJ, he is still leaning on the same and what is familiar, and he is uncomfortable with the new. Throughout the interviews, I kept hearing him repeat this concept of letting go. Letting go, letting go. What is this letting go? And you'll hear a lot of these gurus talk about letting go of something, right? And to some degree or another, we're all letting go. But the way that Steven described it sounded a little bit different. So I was like, okay, that's odd. What is he talking about here? So I was reviewing some of my notes when all of a sudden I remembered, oh, Matthew McConaughey. Well, it's about letting go when they're just wanting me to go with the flow and I'm not quite ready to go with the flow. He was holding on to that strong backbone of his. And I remember we typed this ISTJ guru, Michael Singer, who described himself as an entrepreneurial control freak back in the day. And his lesson to all of us is we are all controlling everything and we need to learn to let go and to let things unfold.
It's about walking into life and realizing life is going to unfold in front of me. That's what it does. Okay? I can't control everything. Life's going to unfold in front of me. Can I learn to handle the moments that are unfolding in front of me? Or do I have to keep fighting with them and resisting them to make them be what I want? So this key to understand that it's not about getting what you want. It's about letting go of the disturbances you're creating inside yourself that makes it so you have to have things be a certain way to be okay. Because you shouldn't need to have things be a certain way to be okay.
And Steven appears to fall in a similar camp. But real quick, you can learn a lot about someone by how they see others. So listen to how Steven describes this director.
Basically, we were about halfway through the movie that we were doing called Burning. He was just like, a movie makes itself. And I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah.
And I would just watch him set up the pieces and then just like go, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And then know when he's not trying to control anything. Like I remember we did this one scene where like it's this like dusk scene that we only had like a 30-minute magic hour window to shoot every single time.
Yeah.
And we shot that over the course of a week. We shot it, he watches it all back and he's like, we're gonna do it again. So we go the next week back and do the same thing, and then all of a sudden one of the takes, a flock of geese fly past the reflect off the window pane. It's like, that's it. And I was like, okay. I mean, like, that's not available to everybody.
No, of course not.
But
rarely,
yeah, but that I was like, oh, I see. Sometimes you just, actually most of the time you're just dealing in letting go.
Yeah.
He is weirded out by how OE the director is. Oh, maybe the answer is letting go. That is going to make Steven OI. So Steve-O here is going to be a standard real INFJ. And since we are all INFJs here, we're going to be doing the exact same things that Steven's doing. We're seeing down the road 20 years in advance and we're learning to let go and bow down and everyone else is better than us. But real talk, I found that a lot of his parts are really hard to see, so it's hard to prove a lot of these. Like, is he blast? Maybe. Sleep and play? I guess you could say those are in the middle. But what you are going to see is that Mr. Yeun is consume last.
Steven, can you tell me what these dishes are?
Yes. So it looks like rice.
Yeah? You're my cultural ambassador. What are you doing? What is it? No, listen, I'm
That's
Irish.
potato salad.
Yes,
That's
I know potato salad. Yeah. So that's
good. Pajan.
Pajan?
Yep. Has whatever my mom puts in. I don't know. I just eat it.
Okay.
This is kimchi 국물 or 물김치 or one of those things, which is essentially kimchi water.
Right. You're sort of like Anthony Bourdain if he knew absolutely nothing.
Now for the social, I wasn't fully sure. I kind of had a hard time proving it. Is he a specialist? Is he a generalist? Is he building out and expanding and doing different things? Or is he sticking within his lane? It's kind of hard to tell. He doesn't seem to be expanding out anywhere, but at the same time, is that just his IJ-ness working within his box? Maybe, but I feel pretty good about Demon Flex.
But I really want to talk to Steven about this photo that that I saw that really...
No.
What are you doing there? Are you adjusting your own head?
This is not accurate. This sexy thing is not. This doesn't make sense. It's a weird situation to be asked to be in that thing because that's not me. And I have actually something that shows everyone who I really am. This is the core of who I am. I have brought a picture. That's me. Look at the glasses. Look at the crown. Look at the windbreaker. That jean.
Fanny pack.
The jeans start here.
Is that
oh my God.
Are you wearing a fanny pack in that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Why wouldn't I be wearing a fanny pack? Yeah. And then the hands. It's these guys.
Yeah.
It's those.
Where are you in that photo?
I'm at medieval times, and I think I'm.
Okay, that's all you had to say.
Yeah.
No, shove. I'm not cool. I'm lower than all of you. Self-sabotage. I'm not the best. I'm not at the top. So personally, I would place my bets on that he's probably a number 4. Like, he's just too dang lovable, and all the other social types just aren't. Well, that was handsome cutie pie Steven Yeun. I hope that you enjoyed seeing what one of these rare specimens looks like out in the wild, even though they're practically everywhere. If you enjoyed, let me know. And also let me know who you'd like to see next. Otherwise, I'll catch you later.
Have you ever been walking down the street with your best bro, and while you're walking, you accidentally touch hands? You think to yourself, that was weird, but I'm not gay. You are. You are gay.
I swear, this is really gay. No, I'm not doing it like this.